So, we waiting on Keyz, and we waiting on me to figure out how the hell do I keep like I don't know how I keep doing this. Like my headphones get wrapped around my mic, and then I be about to mess up stuff. But screw it, we're just gonna leave it like that for right now. Um, this is Sucio Sportz episode 15. I am the captain of the ship right now because I called the audible and said we're gonna start on time this week. Damn it, I pulled the Janus. More on that later. But nah, we was laughing in the spaces earlier, and I think they still going in that spaces. That's why Key's really late. But that's that's the wild spaces. If you're not following the gang already, like let me get that off right here, right now. Let me pull it up because y'all know I will read it wrong or send y'all to the wrong Twitter account or something like that. So let me just make sure I pull it up right quick. Okay, it's at Sucio Sloan 217. Please follow Sloan. We have hold up. Of course, at DX Keyz, that's Keyz with a Z. We have at A underscore Hun underscore the Shogun. We have M underscore make flyer than you, that's with a U. And then, of course, we have the most egregious nigga on the internet. That's underscore Sir Lax a lot. That's Dre. Who else? Where's Kyle's? I need Kyle's. I forgot. I'm about to call Kyle about like all kind of handles and Twitters and whatever else. Okay, Kyle's is at Mr. Marvel 87. Okay. See, I was about to call him something else. I'm glad this is why I like to do my show prep and be prepared because I be about to mess up stuff. Oh, Keith said his man, bruh, his laptop be doing the same thing like my wireless stuff be doing sometimes. Like sometimes we just like I was just on the phone and she was like, "Hey, my laptop tripping." Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you know what? Mine be tripping too. Keys be tripping. Like technology is not always our friend. Like, it's great, but I'm just saying, like sometimes it really don't be your friend. Um, I forgot to I put the bottle up, but shout out to Mighty Vin and Emilio Sparks over at Wrestle Rap. That's at Wrestle with a W, RASSLE Rap. I think it's another WRAP or RAP. For putting me on to the kombucha to help your gut health and stuff like that. This one is it's pineapple and I think passion, or it's pineapple and something. Whatever the one. Shout out to HEB. Y'all need to be a sponsor. Answer that email. I gotta keep emailing y'all, so we need to collaborate on some food stuff, like for real, because we need to have I don't know a chef show, cooking show, something like that. At least once a month, I'll bring y'all like I'm gonna just start doing it. Just go on the live and once a month I'm gonna show y'all how to cook something. I may do it live, I may record it and chop it up, edit it, make it look good or something like that. Give one of these interns something to do, especially the boy, because I know he knows how to do that kind of stuff. But yeah, we're gonna look into that. HEB, holler at your boy. Y'all know I be tagging y'all on Instagram and on Twitter and everything, Facebook, all of that. Like, y'all know I love y'all. Y'all can check. You can check my card. Any card, cash transaction, whatever. Look at the camera. I'll tell you which three I normally go to, and y'all can trust me. I'm in there every week, at least once a week. Don't let nobody else tell y'all this. Somebody try to tell y'all I go to HEB every day or every other day, they lie. Maybe twice a week. Maybe twice a week. Definitely once a week. Sometimes twice. On the rare occasion that I may forget something or like whatever, three. Three max. Max 3 times a week. Because I hate like getting there, and that's why I always park in the exact same parking spot and everything, because I just hate going. But anyway, enough about all that. One of the first things we always do on the rundown is we do play music, but I'm gonna wait for Keyz to come in because this is something special for him that he requested, picked out, and whatnot, and we'll just throw it in a little different order because that way he can better explain the musical choice and everything like that. Because y'all know if it's music being picked out and it's something fresh, new, it wasn't me. 9 times out of 10, it was Keyz. It was not me. I can't take credit for all of that. But the weekend was dope. Football, man. If y'all didn't see, I think I posted it. I'm not sure. But I had the bright idea to make a chocolate chip cookie cake, as I normally like to do. But I mixed in marshmallow cream with it. So it came out almost the consistency, like instead of being more like a thick cookie cake, actual cookie cake, almost brownie like, it came out kind of like a chewy Chips Ahoy, like a gooey kind of consistency, kind of in the middle, and then like on the outside, it's like a nice cookie crust to it. It's interesting. It's even better, honestly, when it's been left over, and then you put it in the air fryer on about 325 for a good 2, maybe 3 minutes or so, roughly. It just depends on what kind of air fryer you got. But yeah, that thing is serious. Now, the thing they told me about this kombucha, it helps your gut health and all of that good stuff, right? Okay, cool. So I'm like, you know what? See, this is what happens when people get your phone number and then they text you stuff while you broadcasting. See, I'm a professional though. Like I was saying, they sent me this, and I was listening to Wrestle Rap one time. I be in the kitchen when I'm cooking. I gotta listen to Sucio Boys first. Like, I think every picture I've posted of food, probably over the last year, at least 6 months, maybe. I've been listening to the guys because they gonna crack me up. They gonna entertain me. They gonna make me think. Sometimes they make me fuss and cuss at them because we'll disagree, whatever. But they're my guys, and I love them, and they always keep an entertaining, thought-provoking show. But I love listening to them. I'll listen to Wrestle Rap. Typically, Black Wrestling, I'll watch live. It's certain shows that I can listen to. Those Wrestling Girls, Wrestle Realm, them. Wednesday Worldwide and Cheap Heat, I like to listen to those like right then and there. The Ringers, the guys from the Ringer. But then there's some other pods that I like to listen to, different stuff like that. But when I'm in the kitchen, it's typically Sucio Boys. But yeah, they were talking about the kombucha. It helps your gut health and this and that. And I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll try that instead of the probiotics or whatever else it was that I was taking. My dumb ass, I get the 16-ounce bottle. I'm thinking, okay, go ahead and drink it. So I'm in the kitchen cooking, cleaning, washing everything up, putting everything up. Boo, boo, boo. I drink the whole bottle. I post updates along the way. Vin hits me back and says, hey, yeah, you're only supposed to drink like maybe a fourth to a half of a bottle or something like that, depending on how many ounces it is. So yeah, if you drink the whole bottle, then yeah, it'll really get your bull moving, or some kind of way he put it. So, but yeah, it definitely will get you regular. It'll keep you regular. I mean, it does not taste great. It's definitely an acquired taste. But I mean, hey, when you old as I am and you get aches and pains and shit, like you just be like, hey, whatever helps. Whatever helps. Day is got me rambling and shit talking about kombucha and my gut health.
Hey man, at least you
the audience. I was trying to hold back all the good stuff that you got here.
At least you educating everybody. Can you hear me?
Bruh, I already tried to I keep forgetting to keep sending that email to HEB. I was talking about that earlier, talking about how at one time we were spitballing, like doing like a cooking show, or like just a segment or something like that, but hit on that a little bit earlier.
I missed the intro song and everything.
No, bro. Like, you know, like when it's a special musical choice, you gotta wait. If it was just something I threw on, then I would throw it
okay.
on. But nah, we gotta wait. I told the audience, I was like, I got no keys for that because this was his special selection.
Yeah, man. This is I'm still in this wild space right now. My bad. Right now.
Bruh, I was about to pull y'all up. But when you told me it was like you was waiting on your laptop, I was like, hey, his laptop may kick on at any moment, so let me just chill.
These niggas is over here. These niggas is wilding in this space, and it's funny as hell. The group chat is funny, but yeah. But anyway, yeah, bro, my homeboy Quan, he from DC, Baltimore, my bad. He a Ravens fan. He do music, and he hit me the other day with this track that he did. Lamar Jackson actually listened to the track. He liked it. He gave him a little feedback on it. But it's called MVP, and he is a Ravens fan, which is also the intro song, and it's going to lead us into the first topic. So, but yeah, the song fire though. His name is Quan Jabril. When this episode drop, I'm gonna definitely make sure I link this song and some of his a link to his other music in the description, or when I post everything. But yeah, bro is super talented, yo. Like from the moment we met on Twitter, but from that point when he told me he do music, he started sending me this shit. I've been a fan. Like bro is nice.
Like I saw some of his stuff come up on the feed or whatever. So I was like, okay, when you sent it to me, I was like, okay, this is Quan. Cool. I was associating it or whatever. Again, as a rule, my personal thing, me and Keyz, when Keyz send me something, I do not listen to it until we hit play right here and now. So, because I'm not as in tune with the music stuff like Keyz is. So I let him, or, the fellas, maybe my girl or somebody, or the kids, whatever, I let somebody introduce me to new music. So here we go. MVP.
Is it playing?
Is
it playing?
Yep. Hold up.
Yep. Your thing doing that thing again.
Hold up. Technical see, this is exactly what I was just telling the audience about. Fucking technical difficulties.
Look, we all having technical difficulties, right?
I know what it is. Bam, there it is.
Bro. I had to switch laptops. One laptop, the main one I used was updating.
Again,
bro. And then the other laptop, I couldn't bring up the camera and the mic on that one. So luckily, by the time
I gotta get a new one.
By the time I was trying to figure that out, this one finished updating. So I was like, all right, thank God. But then it was moving slow. It was a lot. It was pissing me off.
All right. Second time's the charm, I promise. Gotta be fucking kidding me.
Any of y'all that are not new to Sucio Sportz, you know, this happens.
Oh, this shit is crazy.
Quite often.
Hey, sorry about that. I'm getting text messages. Hey, man.
Damn, I was muted the whole time. I was gonna say it's only in your headphones still.
What'd you say?
I said if you were playing the music, we still couldn't hear it.
There we go. Did it play? Hello? It didn't play.
No, sir.
What the hell?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Bro, I think you jinxed me. Because I swear, I had it like, I was like, all right, let me test it. I see, because I thought you said it was playing earlier.
Is it turned down?
No. It's like all the way up.
I don't know. It's like I can hear it, but it's really faint. Let me see if I can. Technical difficulties, guys. It wouldn't be us if we didn't.
This.
Tell you that.
I quit.
We'll get it right. We'll figure it out.
We're gonna figure something else out next week. But yeah, we tried.
I'll still drop the link for Quan. I'll still drop the link for
yeah, I'm about to tweet it out right now because like the song fire.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'll tweet it out too.
The song fire.
Yeah, bro is like, and I'm not just saying it because I fuck with the nigga. Like his music is fire for real.
Yeah,
like
I told him
I'm
sitting
I
here
hate
like, hey, he in the chat right now. I'm like, hey, wait a minute, like this dope. And then I'm
bro can tell
even
you,
more frustrated because can't nobody hear this shit.
I've told him so many times, like, bro, I hate local artists. I don't whether they from my area. I hate local artists, but that shit, the shit bro does is fire for real. And he's in the chat, guys. If y'all want to follow, if you're watching, Quan is in the chat right now, so you can definitely.
Quan, what is your Twitter?
On his name.
Mine won't pull it up. Like you know how it started.
If you go to the Sucio, go to the Sucio Sportz page and go to the DMs.
I bet. I knew it was somewhere on one of the pages. I just had to remember which one. I thought I had it on mine. Here we go.
Bam, got it with that woman.
Bro, just give it up, dog. Give it up, big dog.
Hey, bro, she is drunk and it's funny as hell.
Like seriously, bro?
Yeah, you missed the bet, dog. I love that I can talk about this like this while I'm still in the space. Matter of fact, I'm about to put my headset on so I can listen while I'm talking.
Hey,
These niggas, bro, When I tell you, Shorty is in there lit now. At first, it was like a cute drunk where it was like, okay. Now she's like belligerent, but the shit is hilarious, dog. I'm doing
double like it'd be funny because like when I hopped in earlier, I'm like, okay, I'm off work, using the bathroom. All right, bet I can put it on. Put on my Bluetooth speaker. I'm listening to stuff. I'm like, all right, let me make sure we do the show and everything. And Sierra's in there talking shit like, well, y'all know this? Well, no, we don't. Because it's going to be Tuesday or Wednesday about 8:30. We'll figure it out on that day if it's going to be Tuesday or Wednesday. Because it's like, honestly, like we be clowning around with it, but it's like life be lifing. And sometimes you got some shit going on. You can't really do Tuesday. Wednesday will be better or whatever. Like, sometimes you can't really do Wednesday. Yeah, you never know. Like,
I mean,
we just
it
have
might
to
be a Monday. You never know.
We got to keep it fluid. So one of these days we'll be able to nail down a day, time, and all of that. But for right now, if y'all just sit tight with us, then once we get schedules settled and all that kind of stuff, and we'll figure it out from there. But episode 15 of Sucio Sportz has now commenced since we didn't. I fucked up the intro song again. But anyway, go follow at Quan Jabari. That's QUANJABRI. And please go like, share, and subscribe on his song MVP. Trust me.
Very fire song. Very, very fire song.
The reason why we wanted to play the song MVP to start the show is because the NFL season has concluded. Week 18 was dope. Playoffs are here. Brackets are set. Keyz posed the question, who is your NFL MVP of the 2023 season?
I would say it's tough, man. I got like a little four-way right now between Lamar Jackson, CMC.
Okay.
I hate to say this, but Dak Prescott.
Okay.
And Brock Purdy.
Okay. I mean,
and I really think it's more the other three. I think Purdy's in the conversation. CMC has put up an amazing season. Oh, and Tyreek Hill. That's who the fourth was. It wasn't Purdy. It was Tyreek Hill. Okay. Tyreek Hill, Lamar Jackson, CMC, Dak Prescott. It's somewhere in that four. I don't know who exactly, but I feel like it's somewhere in that four, though.
I'm going to put it to you like this here. I'm going to just go ahead and give it to Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy. Simply because he's played in the most games and had the most meaningful impact of all the guys here.
One.
Except for who?
Except for that Ravens game.
No, I'm just saying he's played in the most games and had the most impact in the most meaningful games out of everybody here. Like he didn't have a real good impact on that game. He had a very
that's
big
why.
Impact on it. But when
that's
you
why
look
I'm
at
like
their 12 wins.
I still put it more on CMC on that team than him though. Without CMC, a lot of that stuff on that offense isn't going to go the way it goes. I feel like that offense, you can put anybody back, almost anybody, back there at quarterback, and that team is still going to be the same team. But I feel like without CMC, that team doesn't flow the way it's supposed to flow.
I'm going to put it to you like this. The reason why I say Lamar never have a 4 interception game, that's true.
Yeah. And
that's true.
He agrees. It's CMC. It's either CMC or Lamar. And I agree with that. I like Dak in that discussion too. And Tyreek is there just because of the numbers. Like he's put up some amazing numbers this year at wide receiver. I think Lamar might not Lamar. I think Tyreek might be third in this discussion. I think, well, no, fourth. I think Dak is third because he's had an amazing season. I can't take that away from that man at all. I may hate that star on his helmet, but I can't take that away from him.
Right.
But I think I'm with you on that Lamar and CMC. Lamar's just had an amazing year. He pretty much shut everybody up, shut all the naysayers up, shut all the, everybody that was, talking during the offseason about the contract, where he's going to go, the teams that passed up on him, and even the Baltimore themselves that put him through all of that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm important. This is why you pay me the money you pay me. This is why you should have paid me, from jump. And he went out there and he did exactly what he said he does. And I feel like if Lamar don't win it, I will say it's a travesty. I think Lamar is number 1, CMC 2, Dak 3, Tyreek 4. The way I'm looking at it, at least.
My thing is when you look at Lamar, you look at he had 3678 passing, 821 rushing, right at 4,500 yards, right? He had 24 touchdowns and 7 picks as a passer.
Damn, I forgot about Josh Allen.
That's woefully behind everybody else. When you look at, you combine his rushing and his passing touchdowns, he still only accounts for 29 touchdowns. Brock Purdy threw for 31 touchdowns. So I'm just saying that's why I look at it the way I look at it. And he had 2 rushing touchdowns. So he had 33 to Lamar.
Who had
29. 2? Huh?
Brock Purdy?
Yeah. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. So he had more touchdowns. And he did have more interceptions, more turnovers, but he had more touchdowns, he had more yards. So that's why I kind of look at him a little bit differently. Lamar, with his completion percentage at 67.2% this year, that to me was one of his most impressive stats. To hell with 821 yards rushing from the quarterback position, because when you look at what he did with his legs and his arm together this year, he put it all together this year. He didn't lean on having 1,000-yard rushing season as a quarterback and 10-plus touchdowns as a quarterback. He didn't lean on that this year. Yes, this was his best passing year. That's what I'm saying. And that team is only going to get scarier as they move forward, as they keep adding and tweaking with his weapons and whatnot. If he gets a solid 1-2 punch at the running back position that he can count on game in and game out, Andrews comes back. Zay Flowers already looks like, you know what I'm saying, he's going to be a wide receiver 1 type of guy, even though I personally think that he's getting there. He's not quite there yet, especially after his rookie year. But I think that kid has all the ability in the world to be a wide receiver 1 in this league. Some may not like it because he's smaller, but I like it. I mean, when you can run different routes and when you can create the kind of separation he can create and run away from guys at the same time, hey, by all means. The thing with Josh Allen, in my opinion, Josh Allen didn't affect as much winning as some of the other guys did because of his turnovers. And I think that's the one thing that, to me, is always going to hold Josh Allen back is his turnovers.
I can see that. The race is gonna be interesting though. It's definitely gonna be interesting to see who's gonna pull it out in the long run.
Yeah, you can't really, like, I'm about to pull up the betting odds right now.
Because everybody that you would put in the discussion has a good case for it, you know. So, like you said, Josh Allen's had a good year. Dak has had a good year. Lamar's had a great year. CMC has had a great year.
Let's see. Where's the awards? Awards. No, I can't find it. I'm gonna keep looking for it, but those MVP odds are something I always like to look at because you get a better idea of who's actually who's the betting favorite at this point in time. Okay, let's see. Right now, Lamar Jackson is pretty much the odds-on favorite, followed by Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, Josh Allen, CMC, Tua, Tyreek. Those are the top 6-7 candidates right there for NFL MVP in order of the betting favorites. So Lamar is probably going to end up winning it because they had he's the quarterback on the best team in football. So record-wise, to me, that's the most complete team in football because they can beat you on offense, defense, and special teams. And not just beat you on offense, defense, and special teams, they can beat you in different ways on offense, defense, and special teams. Because when you have, even though Justin Tucker had a down year, he's still the best kicker in football by far. Don't get me wrong. And you have to include the kicking game and special teams. You can't just discount those guys. But when you are the best, player, the catalyst, the quarterback on the best team in football, that automatically puts you in the front of the MVP race. When we're looking at these playoffs, though, these matchups, let's see. In this first round, I'm trying to pull up the graphic you sent us. Okay, here we go. We got the Steelers hosting the Bills. We got the Dolphins. Oh, no, wait. Hold up. Let me see. Here we go. Because I think I got it wrong. Okay, there we go. All right, first up, we have the Texans hosting the Browns. Then we have the Chiefs hosting the Dolphins. Bills hosting the Steelers. I knew I had it backwards. Cowboys hosting the Packers. Lions hosting the Rams. And then on Monday night, we have the Bucks hosting the Eagles.
I actually, what's crazy? I honestly feel like all of these matchups are perfect. Each one of them has a story within it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll start on the NFC. So Green Bay and Dallas has been a running game in the first round of the playoffs for the last at least 3-4 years that Green Bay has knocked Dallas out in the first round every year.
And they have history this year back to the 90s.
Yeah, I feel like it can happen again because Green Bay is peaking, like you always say, they're peaking at the correct time. Jordan Love is clicking. He's gotten his offensive players back. He's got Aaron Jones. He's got Watson. Everything with them is working the right way. I think they can sneak one in Dallas. I honestly do. And actually, because Dallas is number 2. I love, of course, the Rams and Detroit have the quarterback swap that happened a couple years ago. So returning to that in Detroit is, Goff coming home to Goff. Now Stafford going back to Detroit, Goff playing his old team. That writes itself right there. Philly and Tampa played earlier this season. So this is a rematch from earlier this season. So everything on that side, has a story. Steelers in Buffalo, same thing. Old history, renewed. Miami and the Chiefs have probably the biggest story out of all these teams and games in this first round. I think the Browns and Texans is going to be offense versus defense. Obviously, it's that Texans offense versus that bolstering Browns defense. So the first round it should give us great football all weekend, in my opinion. I don't think there's a game. I don't think there's a game you can honestly predict.
No, I don't see that. There's
because I feel like any of these games could go either way. I honestly think. Well, maybe the Steelers in Buffalo. I got Buffalo trashing the Steelers.
Because look, when that report came out earlier,
that one,
and I saw that TJ Watt is out and Mason Rudolph is still going to be QB1 this week. I was like, yeah, Buffalo hitting their stride, and they walking into a walking wounded Steelers team, and they get to host that game.
Yep.
Come on, man.
Beat their ass.
And then, how badly did the Dolphins screw themselves by losing out on the AFC East crown? Which means not only do you not host the game, but now you have to go to Kansas City. And the reports are that it's going to be extremely cold. Extremely cold come game time. Oh, well, now they're saying game time weather, 2 degrees. The deuces bring up balloons. I put up a 2 degrees. I don't know. Next time you log in and send me the link, I think that's what it is.
Right. I'm trying to get
I'm almost certain that's what it is. But I don't know, man. I think if Miami can get that run game going somehow against that Kansas City defense, which has been kind of their defense has actually been their calling card this year, surprisingly. Because you would think a team with Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid calling plays, you would think that it would be the offense. To me, their biggest thing has been their defense this year. And I love the way that the guys celebrated when Chris Jones got that sack and he got that $1 million+ bonus. I love the way they all celebrated as a team, as a unit, you know? Like, yeah, we're happy that our guy get this bonus, especially because that helps him make up some of those fines that he lost because of the holdout and everything. So it was just really dope to see that. But that game being at 7:00 on Saturday night, I mean, man, I don't know. Matter of fact, my homeboy hit me earlier. He making chili at his spot. So, and then I know they're doing a watch party and all of that. I'm just gonna go order my chili, pick it up, and then I'm coming right back to the crib. I'm not trying to get caught up in the mess and nothing like that, but I gotta go support my dog. I gotta go get some of that chili. Shout out to Raul at Kobo's Q downtown in Houston. But what do you think is going to be the most interesting game this week? Since we talked about, potential winners, losers, the one game that we both think may be the blowout or whatever, all the different storylines. Which one is going to be the most interesting overall? Storyline, game-wise, all-encompassing, the most interesting game this playoff weekend. I got mine ready. I knew it from the moment I saw the matchups. This is the most interesting overall game this whole weekend. To me, Rams-Lions. Because, like you mentioned earlier, you have the quarterback swap, but the Lions started off this season hot and then fizzled towards the end. The Rams started off fizzling and then got hot towards the end. So you not only have two ships passing in the night, literally because these teams just basically swapped quarterbacks a few years ago, but you have two teams that are going in opposite directions in this football season, where one is going up and the other one's kind of coming down. So they're both literally two ships passing in the night yet again. And here they're
say the same. I would say that about Miami and the Chiefs too, because they've been up and down all season. So it's like who's clicking. I like Miami, even though you can never count out the 0.5. We know this. You can never count him out. He's starting to be like Tom Brady, like LeBron, like Kobe. If they in the game, you can't count them out. You know they go give they all until that final whistle. But I think Miami's lost some defensive juggernauts. And I think this game has become a lot more even. I think the Chiefs letting Frank Clark go was major for them. If I was Miami, I would have picked him up that day. I would have picked him up.
Look, he went back to Seattle, and I think Seattle ended up letting him go as well. So now you had 2 chances to pick him up and chose not to.
There's a lot of people that's out there right now, like that. I'm surprised. Like I'm shocked that the Ravens didn't grab Jabril Peppers. I mean, not Jabril Peppers. Marcus Peters. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I'm surprised Marcus Peters is still sitting, and Ndamukong Suh is still sitting. Zach Ertz got. I mean, he asked for a release to get picked up. Nobody's picked up Zach. I thought Baltimore would at least got 2 of them. They did grab the running back that everybody knew they grabbed. That was major. Yeah, that's what's got. I'm gonna be honest. As much, even though we're in the playoffs as the Eagles, Baltimore looks so good. Baltimore looks great. I feel like the only thing that's in Baltimore's way is Baltimore.
Yeah,
like that's the only. I feel like that's the only way they don't have they have an easy path to the Super Bowl, in my opinion. And the only way they don't get there is if they get in their own way or injuries or something like that. Like
because that team
is written in the clouds.
Complete. And the one area where they had a weakness already going into the season became more of a weakness because of injury. They literally just shored it up with a good solid veteran pickup in Dalvin Cook. So they got 2 of the more name brand recognized players to add to their skill positions in Odell Beckham in the offseason and then Dalvin Cook late season. And those are the 2 areas where the Ravens have struggled the most over the last couple of years, is getting Lamar Jackson playmakers outside of Mark Andrews. So to see them pick up those guys and to see that defense still compete the way they compete and play the way they play, and now to watch that offense be able to follow suit with a dynamic playmaker like Lamar as the trigger man, that's pretty much the team to beat. And so I can't wait to see what they look like next round after being off for a week. Almost 2, because if you count the game against, the Steelers or whatever, it's like whatever. So being off for, 1, almost 2 weeks, let's see what that team looks like going into the divisional round of the playoffs. Keeping with football, though, we have I'll just go out and say it, the disputed national champions were crowned last night, because people are going to want to say that to be, somewhat politically correct or whatever. But the Michigan Wolverines were crowned college football's national championship winners last night.
The last 14 college football playoff champion.
Yep. When I saw that game, when we were watching that game and we were texting back and forth, like I said, hey, it's about to get ugly fast. And like you tweeted it from the account, and I'm like, ooh, we didn't got the ball back again, and they up by 2 touchdowns already. Somehow, some way, Washington found a way to get the ball back, score a touchdown, make it a 1-score game before halftime. Going into halftime, now I'm thinking, okay, now we got a game, because I didn't realize Washington was getting the ball back. I totally forgot about that. Okay, cool. First play out the gate, second half. What does Penix do? Interception. And to me, his problems started, I want to say, at the end of that first half or so when he took that hit on the knee. Really, he was getting pressured from the beginning of the game and getting hit pretty much all game. But when he took that hit and it kind of tweaked his leg, I think that
The
really.
one near the end zone where he almost got the safety.
Yes, that one. No, that one too. But
It
I
was
want to say
whooping his ass all game.
They were somewhere around the 20, 30-yard line. And he threw like it was a pass. I can't remember where he threw it, but his leg got kind of rolled up on.
Okay.
That one right there was the one to me that kind of like that really started it and expedited him having the happy feet, overthrowing guys. And it was a play, I believe it was a second and long. Cover 2. Michigan was in cover 2. Receiver goes on a post corner route, right in the sweet spot between the low corner and the high safety, right? He completely overthrows the guy. And I'm like, the announcers even said it. I mean, Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler, they said it like that's a throw he's made 99 out of 100 times. We've seen
it was a lot of throws
over and over.
It was a lot of throws last night that we've watched him throw all season. It's just that defensive line and those linebackers had him so uncomfortable. His O-line was not giving him the time that he needed. It was like 1-2 throw.
Yep.
His receivers weren't getting enough time to get open. It really was like maybe 1-2-3 throw.
He didn't have much. And to say that offensive line won the Joe Moore Award for the best offensive line in college football, they didn't really perform like it last night. However, I'm not going to take anything away from Michigan. I'm going to give them full props because that defensive line is nasty. That defensive line is nasty. And one play in particular, the D tackle got to Penix. And the guard that was blocking him was about 6'6", 320. You know, he looks like a tackle, but he's playing guard. So, of course, he's going to play a little upright, a little tall. And the guy that's the D tackle for Michigan that was going against him, he's like 6'3", 6'4", probably about 320, 330 himself. However, he uses his speed, quickness, and the leverage to just, move. I just shove the guy to the side and like, all right, I'm at your quarterback now. And it's like, okay, if you're going to have an oversized guy playing guard, you got to make sure that he has good bend and good leverage and good technique. You cannot have a guy that comes out of that bend and stands straight up, and then the first thing the D tackle is doing is getting under his pads and pushing him backwards. That cannot happen. That happened way too often last night, and that's part of the reason why Michigan had such a good time is because they controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. You hearing something?
Yeah. I was muted for a reason.
That's why I was like
the intern, the baby interns are upstairs in trouble.
Oh boy.
Had to mute it. I didn't want nobody to hear what's going on back there.
Because I looked at him, I was like, oh, he must have heard something. But yeah, man,
I heard it. I was like, ooh.
It's like, but that Michigan won the same Joe Moore Award in 21 and 22. Washington just happened to win it last year. But when you have such a good offensive line going against that dominant of a defensive line, that's when you see like the actual skill and kind of coaching technique and the differential in, okay, who's going to strategize better?
And Michigan was just hungry this year. That's all it was. These last 2 weeks, they've just been hungry, very hungry. That Alabama game, the national championship game, it got better in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little more of a game. Washington got a little more comfortable. They had a couple of chances to actually come back and win it. But again, Michigan just wanted it more.
Yeah, definitely. I loved those two games last weekend. They both came down, to last second
Touchdown.
plays and
Yeah. Final
overtime and
final plays on pretty much final plays on both sides. So
right.
and the
And
national championship was better than last year's. I'll say that. I liked it more than the TCU and Georgia game.
of course. I mean,
Yeah.
you got a game where it was a bit of a blowout and you kind of saw it coming at first. Washington held them off and then they could no longer hold Michigan back and the floodgates open, especially with the turnovers. But I mean, you just saw like you said, one team just wanted it more. And they found a way to continue to dig a little bit deeper, go a little bit harder, and just basically dominate that game. You may look at a 21-point win and think like, well, whatever. But when you look at one point, Michigan was averaging 13 and a half yards a carry. We talking about a first down plus every time you decide to run the football. Like, that is not normal. You don't average that, at any point in the game. But, I mean, Michigan found a way to get it done. They ended up with 303 yards on the ground, and that's why your starting quarterback can go 10 of 18 for 140 yards and you win by 3 touchdowns. It's not just because your defense got two turnovers for you. It's because you basically controlled the game with the run, and you forced that team into playing the way you wanted them to play, and they dictated everything basically from the get-go. The crazy part about it is that Michigan was only 1 of 10 on third downs. Washington was 2 of 14. Michigan was 0 of 1 on fourth down. Washington was 2 of 5. So when you look at third and fourth down efficiency, if you just looked at those stats, you're like, I don't know who won this game. But when you just look at it, like, Michigan dominated. 303 yards rushing. And they were +2 in the turnovers. Both teams had 5 penalties. Washington only had 30 yards. Michigan had 45 yards. And Washington actually had a slight edge in time of possession, 30 minutes and 44 seconds to 29 minutes and 16 seconds. Again, run game, +2 in the turnover margin. Those are two of the stats that I always say can lead to victory. If you can win the rushing performance and win the turnover battle, that should be a dub.
Yeah, it definitely, like I said, it definitely was a great game. Better team won. I think the better team won. Fuck them niggas. But they won. I think it's dope though that
to see how long you was gonna go before you said something.
I do like though that the very first the very first team to win the championship in the 4-team playoff was Ohio State, Big Ten. Mm-hmm. And then the very last team to win it in the 4-team is Michigan, Big Ten. So I think that's dope that they open and close, the entire thing.
Bookended.
Yeah, so it was dope. It's gonna be interesting. I thought he was still in the space. But I think next year is gonna be super interesting with this. What is it? 12 team next year?
12 teams, yeah.
I like it though because it gives you. So now it's gonna go a little longer. Now we get an extra couple weeks of college football now. Along with going into the college. Not college. Kind of going into the NFL playoff all at the same time. So next year we're gonna get a lot of football in that January, and they might start it a little earlier in December maybe. But at least from depending on when they start the college football playoff, I would say at least it's going to overlap into the NFL playoff, and it's going to be good.
Yeah, I still think that they want to end up in the same wheelhouse with the national championship game being like the first week or end of the first week or beginning of the second week or whatever, January, something like that. I don't think that they'll go too far into January so that way they don't overlap with the NFL playoffs, because you want to keep working with your partner, basically, quote unquote. So I think if anything, some of these other bowl games will get collapsed or absorbed into the college football playoff, and things will just, the playoff will start much earlier because, of course, you have 3 times as many teams participating as you did now. But I highly, highly, highly doubt they go any further past the last week of the NFL season. I think that they're going to look at the last week of the NFL season and make sure their national championship game is scheduled that week and go from there. I think that's how it's going to look.
Because with a 12-team playoff now, you're adding what, 8 more teams than what you had regularly.
Mm-hmm.
That first round of games, they're going to get out that weekend like normal. That Saturday. Pretty much all of them will probably be scattered out throughout Saturday. Maybe Sunday too, but
I think the way it's going to look
Friday, Saturday.
Those top 4 teams are going to have a bye, and then 5 through 12 are going to play each other.
They're going to play.
And then you have the top 8 and go from there. I think that's how it's going to end up looking.
That makes sense. And then the next week you'll get the top 8, and then So that makes sense.
I think that's how it's basically going to play out, because to me, it doesn't make sense any other way. Like, you're not going to have an East and West or anything like that because of conferences and things like that. So the best way to do it is top 4 get buys, 5 through 12, y'all play each other, go from there. NBA, we had a lot of different stuff set up for the NBA. We're still going to talk about it, but just real quick to kick off the NBA because it's fresh. It just basically happened right when we were coming on air or whatever. Miami Heat coach Eric Spoelstra signs an 8-year, $120+ million extension, the most money ever committed to a coach. I want to say his contract set records for length and overall money overall. The amount of years he was given on his contract is the most ever, and the amount of guaranteed money.
That's crazy. Yeah, Miami coach for life. I don't know, man. I think it might be time for them to move on from Spo. I don't think I would have gave him that extension. I don't know.
Hey, man, the man is good, and he's found a way. I mean, when you look at it, is a team with Jimmy Butler, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo. Like, Jimmy has found a way to defy the age laws a little bit. Bam has transformed himself into a top-tier type of player, but, I mean, how far down the list do you go when you're picking teams before you pick Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler, is what I'll say. You'll probably look at, you may draft LeBron, AD, Giannis, and all the Embiid. You'll probably draft Luka, Kyrie, KD, Steph, SGA. Hell, you may even draft De'Aaron Fox before you get to Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. So what I'm saying is I'm not saying that these guys are terrible. I'm just saying in the hierarchy of stars and superstars in the NBA, there's a whole lot of guys before you get to Jimmy and Bam. And Spo has found a way to get it done consistently with these guys.
But they can't get over the hump. I feel like they're a trade away. I don't know who has to get traded per se, But I think because they've always found a way to get to at least the Eastern Conference Finals every year.
Damn
they
near.
found a way. When you look at
Yeah.
the Eastern Conference, Miami is not one of them teams where you're like, they're going to make it to the finals and they make it to the finals. I think they're just like a player away, a superstar. I'm not even just a player. They're a superstar trade away from getting over the hump.
You know what I want to know sometimes? And I know we'll never know this.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how true that when the Dame trade talk was going on, did they really not want to give up Tyler Hero to get Dame? That always fascinates me about the guys that teams choose to hold on to in certain trades. Whether it's the NBA or Major League Baseball normally, because the NFL has very few trades like that, especially midseason. But just sometimes I wonder about that when you hear those rumors about how this team said that, yeah, they want to make the deal, but they do not want to include this guy. I wonder how true that rumor is, because when I look at Tyler Hero versus Dame Lillard and whatever else you had offered in that package, I would have sent his ass packing yesterday if that was the offer on the table. Because how often do you get
I didn't understand what Portland was doing because
a consistent killer like that?
Because Portland got like what, 2 people off the books? They got Dame off. Well, they got more than 2. They got Dame off the books. They got they ended up getting Drew. Then they got Drew off the books. They got Nurkic off the books.
They got because they sent Nurkic to Phoenix. Dame is in Milwaukee.
And then Drew.
And they flipped Drew to Boston.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. They were doing a total tear down and rebuild. They want to build around these younger guys and Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, DeAndre Ayton. And that's cool and everything, but what you basically did was almost put Ayton back in the situation he was in Phoenix, where you have 2 perimeter guys who are going to dominate the ball now. And not only are those 2 perimeter guys going to dominate the ball, now they're much younger perimeter guys are going to dominate the ball. So you have the potential of being there a lot longer with these 2 perimeter guys that are going to dominate the ball. How much happier is he going to be in Portland to where he's going to want to continue to stay and work on his game, so on and so forth? I don't know. I just don't see that as working out. So when you question Portland about that, the trades are one thing, what they got back, but the way they constructed that team was something else. Really centered around Ayton. I think that Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, and those guys on the perimeter will figure it out. Scoot just seems like the type of kid that wants to come in and be a real consummate professional point guard and actually get his teammates involved and whatnot. I don't see him as one of those selfish guys like trying to score 30 a game or anything like that. But I think that team is going to be really interesting to watch in the next couple of years. Could you see Portland having the type of resurgence in the next couple of years the way a OKC, a Minnesota, or a Kings team has, where they were once one of the lower tier teams in the Western Conference, and then through their youth movement and all those young guys growing up, playing together, and then developing something, potentially transforming themselves into a playoff team?
Yeah, I think they're going to have to build their team back up through the draft. Maybe a trade or 2, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, like building them through.
I think that's going to be the best way for them to build up that team is through the draft. But like, because when you think about it, what veteran would you try to bring in and sign as a free agent that would add the perfect balance to that team. It's like you really got to bring in somebody who's not going to mind taking a back seat to Henderson, Simons, Ayton, and Shaden Sharp was the other guy. I knew it was another guy that I couldn't think of on that team. But I don't know, man. I think maybe like a perimeter, another like 3-and-D guy on the perimeter, somebody like that. Like what would have been good for a team like that? Like once they're ready, a guy like a Dylan Brooks or a Marcus Smart or somebody like that. And that type of, I'm not saying one of those guys, but just in that type of mold. I think that would be the type of veteran you would need to add to a team like that.
I don't even know if they need a young. I don't even know if they need a young vet. I think they need like a. I don't know if it's a guard vet or a forward, maybe a center. Like bringing in like maybe a DeMarcus Cousins.
Okay, somebody just a
Howard,
solid
like,
vet to come and contribute to maybe the back end of the rotation.
Who also like a Dwight Howard who's been there, who knows how to win. Even the DeMarcus Cousins. DeMarcus knows how to win. He's had good times in Sacramento. He had good times in New Orleans. Like DeMarcus one of them, Cousins. There's a couple other like free agent, older players, not too old, but older players out there right now. And Isaiah Thomas, like they need. I think that's what they need. I think OKC also is one of those teams where they're good. Their young team is good, but I think in order for them for the long run, they need the vet. They also need the vet. You gotta have that old nigga on the team. That
you do.
You gotta have an Andre Iguodala. You know what I mean? Like he just or the Udonis Haslem. He may not play. Udonis didn't get in the game. He didn't play, but he was so instrumental on that team. Like
he was very well respected. I mean, I look at a team like you said it perfectly. When the Warriors were finally ready to get over that hump is when they made that trade with Philly and got Iguodala. When they added a Sean Livingston, when they added some guys who had been around the league for a little while, who had been in some playoff games and could just help these young guys adjust. When you look at, I look at a young team like the Rockets right now with a Jeff Green. They added Brooks and Van Vliet to that team. When you look at the Pelicans, you got Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson, but you also have that C.J. McCollum there. Looking at like the Celtics, for example, when they were younger, and you added, some of those solid veterans to that team. So there was just Milwaukee adding a Dame and making sure they maintained Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez. The Knicks added Jalen Brunson. The Heat was a solid veteran team that just keeps adding more vets and guys, just finding guys like all these undrafted free agents and stuff like that these guys find. Minnesota adding a Rudy Gobert and who else is it that they added there? But you see all these teams are littered with guys that basically, like you said, we have some young guys, but we need to bring in the right amount of vets and whatnot. Kyle Anderson was one that I thought of. Mike Conley was another with the Timberwolves. So there's just a lot of that going on where these teams are bringing in guys and it's just, I love it. To me, I love it. And I think that it shows that you want to win and you're actually trying to do something in order to make your team better when you try to add the right pieces. You're not just going out and spending money on the highest price free agent. You're not just going out trying to buy a championship. You're actually trying to add the right kind of pieces. And when you can find the right kind of pieces to add, it makes things look a lot better. Speaking of one team in the league that added some veteran pieces, the Clippers. The Clippers are actually kind of on a roll right now. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're up to 4th in the Western Conference. We openly clowned the Clippers about a week or two ago when they were looking terrible. I'm here to say that maybe I was wrong. They're obviously 4th in the Western Conference. I thought that they would be struggling to make like the play-in the way they were looking at the beginning of the season. They went out, they got healthy. James Harden has assimilated himself. Once these guys all start playing together again, it's looking like they're finding a way to make it work. And as of right now, it's working. And as of right now, and I'm going to keep categorizing it like that because I've seen what James Harden will do when things don't go his way, and he takes the team.
Because anything could happen at any moment, and it could take a turn for the worse.
Exactly. So that's why I'm just like I'm just kind of nervous about the way things go for this team, because right now at 23-13 through the first 36 games of the season, you're almost at a few games away from the midway point. It's working well. By the All-Star break, it may all fall apart. By the playoffs, they may end up putting it back together. Who knows? We'll just keep an eye out. The in-season tournament champion Lakers are currently in the 10th spot, only a half game above the Utah Jazz for that final hanging on for the play-in game. When is Kyrie coming back and going to be fully healthy? Is he back yet?
No, I don't think he is.
I don't think he is yet either, because the other night when I was looking for them, I don't think he was playing again yet. Oh, no, he is back. Is he? Looks like he is. Hold up. Let me see. When was this last game they played? Oh, it's live right now. They're playing the Grizzlies. Let me see. Yeah, Kyrie is back now. Damn, he got 33 tonight.
Well, that's a comeback right there.
4 assists. Shit. And I was just saying, like, the other week, because I was watching the game, and I was like, where the hell is Kyrie at? And then I saw him up in the suite or whatever. Like, oh, shit, he's still hurt. But, yeah, that's good to see Kyrie back, man. I love watching him and Luka play together. And I know a lot of times people may not like two ball-dominant guys to play together, thinking that how are they going to do this? But those two guys seem some kind of way to make that shit work. And it's beautiful to watch. And it's another reason why I always was frustrated, because I'm like, damn, the Golden State Warriors are just kicking everybody's ass. But I love the way Golden State moves and shares the ball. It's similar to watching the Spurs back in the day, the way, you know, Duncan and Robinson, Ginobili, Parker, and all those guys that they had, Pop had there throughout the years, anchored mainly by Tim Duncan. Just the way those guys shared the ball. Now, they may only score 92 points a game back then, but I mean, just the way those teams share the ball, you're not always going to see Magic Johnson in the Lakers, or you're not always going to see a well-oiled machine like Stockton and Malone with the pick and roll. You're not always going to see a run TMC like the Golden State Warriors with Don Nelson back in the day. You're not always going to see that run and gun Clippers team back in the early mid-2000s or whatever. So there's a lot of times where guys are selfish in basketball. It happens. However, watching Luka and Kyrie play together and seeing how both of them play when they have the ball and also when they're off the ball, it's been beautiful to watch this year. And kind of last year as well. It's just been really fun to watch two guys like that. Between the two of them tonight, they got 60 points on 19 of 33 shooting. 13 rebounds and 10 assists combined.
Between Kyrie and Luka?
Mm-hmm.
I like them together. I think the Mavericks are also another team where they're missing pieces. I don't know if it's in the bench or the starting lineup. They're missing that something that makes them
Now,
more dominant in the West.
I've kind of felt that same way, but I can't really quite put my finger on it.
Right.
What I do like though is when they picked up Lively in the draft out of Duke, they needed a rim runner and a rim protector. Dwight Powell is okay, but Lively is going to be the future. He's that pick and roll, catch the lob, on the break, run the lane, protect the rim, keep your guys clean, clean the board. He plays that role in which if a guy isn't a stretch five, that's what they want you to do. If you can't step out and shoot it, this is what we need you to do then. And he's learning, and I think he's going to keep learning. And if the kid just keeps progressing and keeps showing those flashes, I can't wait to see him play. Another rookie, when we were talking about them earlier, and I forgot to hit on this when we were talking about the Heat earlier, but Jaquez Jr. for the Heat, the guard out of UCLA. He's one of my other favorite players to watch when I'm watching the Heat.
Is that the Spanish guard?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He played more of a wing type of forward when he was at UCLA because they didn't really have any bigs, but he's definitely like that wing, kind of off guard playmaking type of guy who has an NBA ready body. It was just finding a spot and finding somewhere where he can flourish in the right type of system, and he found the perfect spot to flourish in the perfect system. Because there's even times where they'll let him bring the ball up the court and initiate the offense in order to get things going. And on a veteran-laden team like that, for them to trust a rookie to do that, that shows that not only do you have the trust of that coaching staff, but you have the trust of those veteran teammates. And that's huge. I did want to make sure I highlighted that as well when we were talking about the NBA.
Definitely. What else in the NBA has been crazy? It's kind of like Draymond's back.
Yes. The fact that Adam Silver had to talk him off the ledge of retirement is crazy.
I understand why though. Because it's getting to the point where it's on one hand, it's like, damn, man, I keep doing some dumb shit. But on the other hand, it's like, am I being targeted now? Like, maybe I just need to just hang it up. Like, maybe it's time.
And I mean, I'm glad he didn't.
Yeah.
Because I still think he has a couple years left in him. But it's true. He needs to tone that shit down because Draymond is too... And I mean, he even tried to say it in his explanation of the flying fist is what I'll call it. I was selling the call. Bruh, you can sell the call without swinging your fist like that. Stop it.
I think this last one, to be honest, won't even that bad. To be completely honest. Old boy that he hit sold the fuck out of it. But this won't even the worst. Out of everything Draymond's done, this shit was so light. And it was over dramatic on both sides, his and the other player. Like it got blown way bigger than it probably should have been.
I'm gonna put it to you like this: if you got a rap sheet a mile long and some shit pop off, who they gonna look at first?
Of course,
they gonna look at your ass.
Of course. And that didn't help. They said it last year when Joe Dumars said it. Like, bro, at this point, it's going off what you've done in the past. You could give somebody the finger poke of doom, and they're gonna give you 40 games for that shit because before that, you done did all this other shit. So,
exactly. Like you no longer get the benefit of the doubt. Like if that was Domantas Sabonis, right? He'd have probably got the benefit of the doubt. If that was Desmond Bane would have probably got the benefit of the doubt. because it was Draymond Green, you lose that benefit of the doubt. And he
Yep.
has to know that. And the worst part about it was it wasn't even a natural motion. Like,
It was just like some flailing.
who falls like that when you have that one arm going up and you're looking at your arm go up and you're looking at your arm flail? Like, come on, man, stop it. Draymond did that shit on purpose and he thought he was going to get away with it and he got busted. That's what happened. But either way, I'm glad he's back. One guy that is back in grand opening, grand closing.
Ja was back for about 2 weeks.
I think like 9 games.
About 2 weeks, maybe 3.
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks, just depending on how they spread them out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, that just sucked. That.
No, I feel bad for him because one, you get suspended, you sit out, you're excited to come back, you come back, you're playing amazing, you got your team winning. I think they only lost 1 game in that 9-game stretch. I think they went 8-1. I think they might have went 9-0. I might be wrong, but either way, he had them playing so much better. Marcus Smart was back. They were starting to click, and then now this, and their seasons. I'm not gonna say it's like in the drain, but they're kind of going. I think with Marcus Smart, at least
they were
still
6-3 with Ja.
Okay, 6-3, which is still good.
Yeah,
still
very good.
They were on track to at least make some noise, like I had said last week, and at least make some type of push going in. I still think they can with the healthy Marcus Smart. They still got Derrick Rose. Like, they have a good team. They have a good young core that can do some things. I think they're still looking at bottom of the West, maybe play-in game, possibly, but
definitely
possibly. I just hate that happened to Ja, man. Like, he was excited about being back. He was playing amazing, and now he's done again. So,
but sometimes this could have been the blessing in disguise that he wasn't even hoping for, because he came back and he was popping his shit, and it's like, okay, pop your shit, but relax a little bit. Don't get too aggressive with your shit. And it seems like then this happened, and it's like, damn, I really hate that. Again, like you said, like that it happened to him, but it's like, you know, you never know, man. Sometimes it could be for the best, and it could just help him put things into extra perspective. Like,
give him a little more time to sit and think.
Yeah, a little more time to let everything marinate. You know,
it's like, one thing. It's one thing being suspended.
Mm-hmm.
It's another thing getting hurt, because that injury can take you away from the game more than the suspension. The suspension, you know, you eventually come to.
Right. Because, you know, on this date, I come back. No matter what, I'm coming back. I was texting with Dre when we were in the group chat the other day. That's why I asked him how long. Because in the press release, the Grizzlies said he'll be ready for the start of the 24-25 season. They do training camp, media day, and all of that kind of early October. Preseason gets started about a week and a half, 2 weeks at the most. A few games. Season starts end of October, roughly. For Ja to be ready, he has to be ready sometime around October, which is about 9 months from now. Dre says, considering the injury that he had, the top athlete that he is, so on and so forth, he could be ready in about 6 or 7 months. So well ahead of, you know, the season starting. But
because we don't know how he got hurt, how severe it is. It don't seem like it's super severe, bad enough that they're shutting him down and he got to have surgery, of course. But it's not like it might not be as bad where it's like it's gonna take him that long. Like he's like Drake said, 6 to 7, because it sounds like he can, which is right on par of when the season is gonna start. So
right, and he had the tear in the labral muscle. I think they call it the subluxation. I can't remember the exact meaning for all of that, but because I had looked it up. But basically he's got to get it repaired. You can't just rehab an injury like that because it's an actual muscle tear at a crucial junction in your shoulder. So it's like it sucks. It is what it is, but thank God it wasn't like, the way Dre was describing his injury and everything, where you arm is just hanging there by skin pretty much because everything's all torn and broken. But it's just a really tough blow to that team. And when I look at that team, the people that are going to have to step it up are going to be Jaren Jackson on both ends of the floor. I believe he's one of those top defensive player of the year candidates all the time. Marcus Smart, of course, is going to have to step it up. Desmond Bane is going to have to do more. They're going to have to get something out of guys like Brandon Clark, and they're really going to have to get more out of Luke Kennard as well. I'm just not sure that team has enough to dig themselves out of the hole that they're in the Western Conference.
To make noise in the West? No.
Right now, they're 4.5 games behind the Lakers for the 10th spot. The teams in front of them are the Golden State Warriors and Utah Jazz.
Both teams, I think, score better. Even with Ja, I think they're better. Even though Golden State is up and down, Utah's up and down.
Mm-hmm.
They're still trying to mesh Colin Sexton with the rest of the team.
Yep. And they're having a hard time. They're having a hard time. One of those teams that's in that 7 through 10 range that I don't see going away anytime soon, just because of the level of talent that they have, no matter that they can't get all their guys healthy at the same time, is Phoenix. I just think that Phoenix has too much firepower for them to really go anywhere. If anything, they'll stay in that 6 to 10 range all year because they're just that talented. The teams in that top 6, Minnesota, Oklahoma, Denver, Clippers, Kings, and Mavs, barring injury and the major injury for quite a bit of time, I don't see any of those teams really going anywhere. I think that a lot of these teams are just going to trade barbs and trade punches until we settle on the last 10. And we could see this same 10, to me, in the West be there because the Lakers are, they have talent. I just said Phoenix has talent. But you look at the Pelicans and the Rockets, the teams that are kind of, they're young and talented, but, can they sustain what they've started so far this season? Who knows? They may be able to, they may not be able to, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to watch over there in the West because I don't think that those 10 teams are changing. Now, when we look at the East is really top heavy because I don't see anybody outside of that top 6, like in that 7 through 10, 11, 12 range, making any noise. In the West, you could see a team like the Suns or the Lakers going on a run because of who they have on those teams. The Pelicans have, scared some people in the playoffs before. I don't think the Rockets will make very much noise. You look at the East, Cleveland or Orlando would be the one exception I will say in the East as a team that's 7 through 10 that could make some noise in the Eastern Conference playoffs.
I like Orlando a lot. I think Orlando is like another one of those young teams that's drafted well, picked up the right free agents. They're meshing and playing amazing basketball. Banchero is coming into his own in the league. Pretty much everything he did from Duke into coming into the league, he's been right on par so far. And I feel like he's brought the rest of the team along with him.
Yeah, he pulled up in that last game, and I'm not sure how that's going to work out, how he's going to go, or what's going on, or what have you. But I love that kid's game, and you don't realize. Oh, he did end up playing 35 minutes against the T-Wolves. They just end up getting blown out about 21. But I look at that team and I'm like, they got a bunch of guys that's like 6'9", 6'10", with the same skill set. And at first, I did not see the vision, honestly. I couldn't see it. I was just like, why are you getting yet another, 6'8", 6'9", 6'10" wing, combo forward type of guy? But I promise you, they're making it work, and it looks good going forward. And I like the mix that they have there. The Wagner brothers, Bankero, Suggs, Fultz, what's his name? Wendell Carter Jr. Joel Ingles is there.
Cole Anthony.
Cole, and I'm looking at his name and I'm like,
Anthony.
Not even saying it, but yeah, like they have a team of good, young, exciting players, and they play a brand of basketball that makes you want to watch them. But I mean, it's always going to be an uphill battle for all those teams in the East. And when I look at the East, really, I mean, the Knicks are a nice team, but to me, it's really a heavyweight fight between Milwaukee, Boston, and Philly. And that's about it. And I see the winner of the East coming from one of those three teams, Milwaukee, Boston, or Philly. I don't see it coming from anybody else. And if there was some way I could place a bet on one of those three teams versus the field in the East, I would definitely take Boston, Milwaukee, or Philly as opposed to any other team in the East combined. By the way, Boston is still undefeated at home right now, 17-0 on the season at home. They are the only remaining undefeated team this NBA season at home. The only other team that kind of comes close to them is the Minnesota Timberwolves, who only have 2 losses at home. They're 14-2. So not surprising that both of those teams are also number 1 seeds in their respective conferences as well. So when you take care of home, oftentimes you will have a really good record. Those 2 teams are also very good in their division. Boston right now is 10-1 in their division, which is crazy because they play so many divisional games. Whereas the T-Wolves are only 4-1 in their division. They haven't played very many at all. Which to me kind of lends itself to the fact that with the Timberwolves having so many divisional games left, rivalry teams that they're used to playing multiple times a year, every single year that know each other very well, they may end up dropping some of those games because you will get a lull in play. You'll get one of those parts of the NBA season where things kind of drag and it won't really land the way it should. And what you'll end up getting is you'll drop a couple of games here and there. Typically, you'll drop those games to teams that are more familiar with you, teams that you kind of play more often. Or it could be one of those, road games, getaway games, a back-to-back or something like that. You end up dropping a game here and there. But it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the NBA the rest of the season going down the stretch. But like I said, in the East, I see Boston, Milwaukee, or Philly coming out of it. And as of right now in the West, it's really hard to tell because the 2 teams at the top of the Western Conference, Minnesota and OKC, we haven't seen either of those teams do anything in recent memory of great. You haven't seen the Clippers or the Kings or the Mavs do anything of great, like of great significance lately. The only team in the top 6 that you've seen really do anything is Denver. And so that's another reason why I think the Western Conference is a lot more wide open than the Eastern Conference. You just haven't seen a lot of those teams in the West do a whole lot lately as far as the playoffs are concerned. Whereas those teams in the East, especially those top 3, like I said, you've seen them constantly dominate that conference over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Nothing's really changing. It's just some pieces here and there. Now, speaking of a good heavyweight fight, Real quick before we get off of basketball,
Tyrese Halliburton.
We've had number 1 and number 2 lose tonight. UH lost earlier to Iowa State, and Purdue just lost to Nebraska.
Ooh. You know what's crazy? I have not been keeping up with college basketball.
I was watching some of the UH game earlier, and I'm just like, the fuck y'all doing? Like, y'all are like sleepwalking. Y'all know this team can beat y'all, right? It was like a 4-point game. It was 23-19. And then Iowa State opened up a 10-point lead. UH drew it back close, like within, I think, like 5 or 6 maybe before I got in there. I wasn't paying attention anymore because I was watching it. And I kept looking at the score, and they were only down. It was down less than 10, but they could never just close that gap and take a lead. And Iowa State ended up holding on and beating them. And then Nebraska just rolled over. It looked like Purdue 88-72. But again, it's just like I was just talking about, like with the Timberwolves only having played 5 division games so far this year. They got a lot of division games that they're going to play the rest of the year, most likely in the second half, because we're nearing the halfway point. And just like these teams in college basketball, sometimes you'll drop a game that you're not supposed to a team that you shouldn't lose to later on in the season. Same thing's going to end up happening in the NBA. But again, segue. That heavyweight fight that we're looking at in the East is pretty similar to the heavyweight fight that we're going to get coming up. This past week, we saw, now, not even a month ago, a few weeks ago, we were talking about the big card over in Saudi. The heavyweights and everything. We thinking Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, they win their respective fights. They have
foregone conclusion. We pretty much wrote them in.
That's what we thought. And boy, were we wrong. Because Deontay Wilder, the only thing he proves to us is that this dumbass, I'm not even going to call that man a dumbass because that's disrespectful. This motherfucker still cannot box.
Footwork is horrible.
He's a fighter.
Horrible. He's Kimbo Slice.
He's a fighter. He's a puncher.
Yep.
He is not a boxer.
There's no technical skill at all. But even with that, Anthony Joshua still wanted to do the fight.
Exactly.
I think Deontay's side was more or less like, no, we need to go back to the drawing board. I don't want to accept something too soon. And I can understand that. I fully understand that. So from that, we got Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou.
And
Francis is out to show y'all that what he showed you in the last fight. He pretty much beat Tyson Fury.
Yes.
He beat Tyson Fury.
And we talked about that. Boxing could not have its cash cow lose.
But can he beat Anthony Joshua? I don't know. It's going to be even. Anthony Joshua looked really great in his fight. Really great. Early round stoppage. Didn't go too long. I think if Francis has worked on his breathing, because that was a little bit of the issue in the Fury fight. His cardio. If he worked on that along with what he already is great at, it could be a long night for Anthony.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, Joshua looked like he worked on his cardio. He worked on his footwork and getting in and out. And I think that, and what I mean by getting in and out is like, as a boxer, if you're circling your opponent, you're the one dictating the move and the pace of the fight. You may let them stalk you into a corner or against the ropes, but you're basically dictating the pace of the fight. What Joshua has learned now is to get in by getting his punches off, getting his combos off, getting his timing, so on and so forth in, and then backing back out before you get counterpunched. He's learning. He would stand in there and trade, but you would see him when he would stand in the trenches and trade with guys as big as he is. he can't use his leverage, which is his arm reach. And a big, long, strong arm puncher like that, pause, you can't get any punches in on the inside. So you need to be at a certain length away from your opponent to get those arms moving and get full extension on those punches. He's learned to come in, work, back out, and still use his length, his jab, and the 1-2, basic jab, straight right combo, jab, jab, straight right, or jab, jab, hook. He's learning to work those combos kind of using in congruency with his footwork and getting in and out is basically what I'm trying to say. He's going to test Ngannou. But the one place, this is where Deontay Wilder has, and this is what I think Francis Ngannou has over Deontay Wilder, because Francis Ngannou is seemingly working on his footwork and certain, basic techniques intentionally. Whereas Deontay Wilder has loaded up that right hand and has never really have never been forced to get in his bag and really develop a bag per se. Ngannou is working on his bag from the get-go. And he's already this good to where he can hang in there with the heavyweight champion of the world. Me personally, I'm waiting for the odds to come out because I'm putting at least a small bet on Ngannou to win straight up.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think Ngannou can get that very easily.
And my thing is, you can work on getting better at a lot of things in boxing as you grow and you mature, but one thing you cannot really strengthen is your chin. You can do some neck exercises and things like that and try to brace yourself for the blow, but once guys see that you have some sort of glass chin and you can't really take a punch, that does not go away. That does not get better. It actually gets worse as you get older and you take more punches to the face. And the one thing that Ngannou can do is he can land a big punch. We've seen it in the UFC constantly. We've even seen it in his debut fight against Tyson Fury. He put him on the ground. Tyson is a big dude, 6'9", about 270, 280.
Something that a lot of people have not done.
Exactly. It took Deontay Wilder, 10, 11 rounds or whatever? Like, I don't know if people really think about this kind of stuff, but when you see a guy that large, though these humongous super heavyweights, because these guys are like in their 250s and 60s. When you see a guy when you see guys that huge, it takes a hell of a lot of punching power to knock a guy like that on his ass. For you to do that to a guy that's that much larger than you, who's a professional, who's been doing this for the last 20 or so, 30 years, you've been a combat sports guy, but that's MMA. This is just boxing. It's these two right here, and that's all you get. And I just think that Ngannou has something special. I think that his something special is also Anthony Joshua's weakness. And I just see the fight going his way. I think if he can get a really good one landed, I think that he'll end the fight quickly. He'll knock him down. I think once Joshua feels that power, I think that's going to change him. Just like Mike Tyson says, everybody got to play until they get hit in the mouth. I just think that's the way that fight's gonna go.
Joshua also moves better, I think, footwork wise than Fury. Fury actually didn't have good footwork in that fight. Fury didn't look good in that fight at all.
True. I will give you that. Yeah, he didn't. He looked like he trained, but he didn't look like he took the fight as seriously as he should have.
Exactly. Like he
if
thought
that makes any sense.
He's like, this is some MMA bloat. I'm gonna just come in and I'm gonna just on some Conor McGregor shit. Like I'm gonna just knock him out.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna get gassed, and I'll be able to just push him down. Some shit like that.
Yep. I don't know, man. It's just I love that we're getting these kind of fantasy matchups because this is the type of shit that we would sit around and talk about and tweet about, go back and forth about or whatever. And I hate to say it, but it almost took like the celebrities trying to come in and take over boxing. And it took the UFC to do what they've been doing over the last 10, 15, 20 years in order for boxing to be like, hey, you know what, we got to get our shit together.
I need that heavyweight division and it finally has. It's got some parity now, because before it was the smaller, right? I mean, to be honest with you, the last 5 years, the smaller divisions, maybe longer than that.
I would say over the last 20 or so years.
Yeah,
because to me, the last time we had a great heavyweight division
was Tyson.
When when Lennox Lewis was kind of running the roughshod over the division, and there was really nobody else left for him to fight
until the Klitschko's came in.
And by that time, Lennox was old, and you didn't really have very many other guys out there. And then it was a lull in the division. Yeah, but I'm excited. Guy that my homeboy Jaron, we've been watching boxing since we was kids. But he hit me to Jared Big Baby Davis. And Big Baby Davis he got the extra motivation to move his family out of the hood. Like it sounds like a typical, made for TV movie type of story. But when you see that kid and you watch him interview and you hear him tell his story and you see how cool, calm, and collected he is, but how driven and focused he is as well. I just hope for big things for the kid, and I really hope that he continues to work on his craft. But I think that he's going to be the next great American heavyweight that we're going to see that's going to probably do some things in the heavyweight division. And I hope that he takes it a lot further than what Deontay Wilder was able to take it.
Yeah, I definitely think he can. Like I said, it's even in some of those guys who took losses at that event, it was a lot that came out of it.
Yeah, there's just, I wonder sometimes, like, do guys actually think about, they carefully craft their careers too much? That was another topic that came up in boxing. Especially with the Ryan Garcia flip-flop this week, a few days ago. They want to craft a career instead of crafting a legacy. And those are two different things. Crafting a legacy means you're fighting all the top guys in your weight class, in and around your weight class, and you're just trying to basically collect infinity stones, collect belts like infinity stones. Like, I want to beat all the guys at every weight class as I move up, and then I want to retire as having won all these championships in all these weight classes and beating all the top guys. Crafting a career means you're basically picking and choosing who you fight when you fight them in order to make the most money. And
Mayweather
sort of like fight some of the best.
Floyd Mayweather effect. But you're not fighting the best though.
Right. You're fighting.
Well, crafting a career,
you're fighting some of the best, but you're not fighting them at their best. You're fighting sometimes you're fighting names instead of fighting fighters.
And to me, that's what we've talked about this before, like what Devin Haney has been doing. Well, you got a lot of the guys like tanking them are like, let's get in the fucking ring. You got Shakur Stevenson that's like, let's get in the fucking ring. And you got Devin Haney that's like, no, this is a better fight over here with this guy that don't nobody know his name, but he got a belt, so I'm gonna just go take his belt. Right. But we don't know who he is though.
And to me, honestly, like I just wish that guys would just like say, okay, I'm at 147. who's all the top guys at 147. I'm fighting all y'all.
I want to knock all you niggas off.
Like, do the, and it may sound cheesy, but do the Cody Rhodes thing. When Cody left WWE, Cody made a list of all the top independent guys he wanted to have matches with. And he went out and he did it. And not only did he do it, he did it in a manner in which he made himself a bigger star. Boxing could learn something from something like a guy like a Cody Rhodes, or, you know, somebody who made a list and says, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this on. You know, look at people who make a literal bucket list, or look at people who set goals and things like that. You know, we're going through something like that at my job where we're focusing on setting goals and things like that. And I'm just like, what if boxing went to something like that? That would be great, because now we could see the top guys fight all the top guys.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it probably won't happen. And just because it won't happen, or it doesn't seem likely, doesn't mean that it won't happen. It's just that the likelihood of something like that happening is kind of falling off. Which the likelihood of NCAA college football ever coming out, I'm lost at this point in time.
These niggas trolled us. I'm watching all this halftime shit like, all right, where's that? Where's that? And then they go back to the game. I'm like, okay, so we gonna get it somewhere in the second half. Where's that?
Bruh. All I could do, and I'm glad I saw this tweet like wee hours in the morning. They said, when I find out who started that NCAA football trailer release rumor or whatever, and they showed some guys rolling up to some random dude at a gas station and like kidnapping him. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? Whoever is causing these delays, they need to catch hands and feet, because this is something serious. Like, I literally did not pay attention to Madden hardly at all this release. Got the game, played it a few, and then I'm just like, I was already burnt out probably 2-3 Maddens ago. At this point, it's just an exercise in like muscle memory to get it.
Yeah, pretty much. Because I always looked at Madden like, it's the game I'm gonna go get. I'm gonna get it every year, but it's the game I play with the homies when they come over the crib. It's the game where, you know, the fellas are playing online. It's like, yo, let's run one real quick. It's not something that I'm sitting at the crib by myself. Lately, I have, which is crazy. I've really been playing lately, like just on my own. But it's usually not that game that you do that. So yeah, I'm hoping NCAA football gives me more of what they did before. And it's not just college's version of Madden. I need exactly what I got in NCAA 14 with newer mechanics, with newer graphics.
Yes.
Because 14, I still got 14. I'm still playing 14, to be honest with you. I'm in year like 20-something as a head coach, but like I'm definitely 20 years in as a head coach right now. I done switched schools like 5 or 6 times already.
Like, I don't even have a system no more to even play the game.
I built up Syracuse to be a powerhouse, and Syracuse is like top 5 in the nation every year ever since I left. Like, I need that with the new one though, but with the Madden mechanics in a sense. Just
right.
It's a lot of stuff I want them to take from Madden, take from the old NCAA football, bring in some other new stuff and put it together and make it amazing,
bro. Honestly,
and recruiting. That's my favorite part of the whole thing. It wasn't even playing.
Dynasty mode.
Playing was amazing, but for me,
it was dynasty mode with the recruiting.
It was going through the recruiting, going through the like all of the off-season stuff, picking who
making
you
the schedule.
Yes. All of that. Even during the in-season recruiting, like recruits visiting, like all of that. Entire thing of dynasty mode was what made me love NCAA football.
I will never forget me and my homeboy. We would fight over who you got to play, because like when you making the schedule and you doing dynasty mode with multiple people, of course you can't schedule like Florida State or whatever on the same week. We would get into it trying to schedule the top teams or whatever on our schedule and everything, right? And it was always something, man. But if they could just take NCAA 14, modernize it, add in some NIL and transfer portal factors, and of course, graphics and all of that kind of stuff, I would be a happy camper. Update the playbooks, of course, transfer portal, NIL, the formations, graphics, all that kind of thing, uniforms, all that. Just give me what I want. Give me like when Denzel, when he was playing Frank Lucas in American Gangster, and he said, "This is Blue Magic. This is a brand name." Like we expect that from EA Sports NCAA football. Like y'all got a legacy to live up to. It's been 10 years since we've had this game. Like, don't play with us. 11 years, really. Don't play with us. Give us what we want. Give us what we're used to. Okay? Don't get cute. Don't get, let's try to spice. No, don't spice nothing up. Don't put no goddamn raisins in the potato salad, EA. I just finished eating potato salad. I don't put raisins in my shit.
No, nobody.
I use the same recipe my mama taught me, that my grandma taught her, that her grandma or whoever taught her. It's the same shit. Don't play with us. And they ain't even my rant for this week. They ain't even my rant for this week. But since I'm already feeling it, fuck it.
I think I'm actually with you on the rant. I might join you on that one. But you can go ahead.
I put on my Saints robe, my Saints t-shirt. I'm not showing y'all, but I got on my Saints pants and my Saints socks.
I have Saints socks. I do.
And I'm wearing my black Taxi 12s too. Because even though my team went 9-8 in an exercise of futility this whole season and didn't make the playoffs,
9-8 is still good, man.
Hey, it's a winning record.
It is. It's a Mike Tomlin season.
Exactly.
Shout out to Mike Tomlin too, man.
17 seasons in a row. Gotta get that brother his props.
What is technically 20 for the franchise, because the last 3 with Cowher.
Gotta get that brother his props.
20 straight years of winning football.
Exactly. And I love football, and professionals play football. I love professional football. I love all football, regardless of the level. However, when the topic came up, should Jameis Winston had called the audible out of the victory formation from the 1-yard line, or should he have allowed his teammate Jamal Williams to get a touchdown? There's several things that go into this. Number one, Jameis didn't make that decision himself. It was a team decision. All 11 guys on that field made that decision together, and I'm sure with the aid and the blessing of some guys on that sideline. Jamal Williams came to this team came to the Saints after leading them and leading the league last year in rushing touchdowns with 17. Was not offered very many deals, signed like a 1-year, $3, $4, $5 million deal or whatever with the Saints. He's the backup running back. He plays a kind of different position. Everybody thought that, when Kamara suspended, Jamal Williams is going to get more playing time. Ends up rookie Kendre Miller from TCU. Played national championship game last year. Kendre Miller ended up getting more carries and whatnot. It comes down to this last play of the season. Saints are up 41-17. They get an interception that gets returned to the 1-yard line. Dennis Allen puts Jameis in, calls victory formation. They decide, we call it an audible. We're going to let Jamal get this touchdown because he does not have a touchdown all year. They chose to do that. I have no problem with this at all. None whatsoever.
What is one touchdown? One touchdown didn't make a, like Jameis said, one touchdown didn't make a difference. They were already getting their ass kicked.
They had. Did it offend you that we scored 41? Was 7 more?
You didn't stop us.
Thank you. Thank you. However, all of the shit talking, all of the back and forthness, and as a Saints fan, it's gonna forever be fuck the Falcons. I'm gonna just be real. I don't like that city. I don't like that team. I don't like they fans. I don't like they fake ass food scene. I don't like they traffic. I don't like they small.
I hate the traffic.
You know what? I really don't like a whole lot about that city, except Jeff and De'Aaron. I like Jeff and De'Aaron. I like them too. Them the only two people in Atlanta I like, and maybe a few more. I don't know. But anyway, when a former Atlanta Falcon, OCU Manura, tweeted the video of the Falcons were up 23-14 against the Saints. Few seconds left. Saints are trying to score, trying to make something respectable out of it. I believe it was a fumble or a tip pass or something like that. Anyway, OCU Manura gets the ball, picks it up, and he could have just slid, kneel down, into the game, right? Nah. OC said it's going to be a house call. Fuck the Saints. I'm a Falcon. I'm scoring this ball. He went down and scored. OC tweeted the video of that and basically said in layman's terms, I'll paraphrase, I have no problem with what the Saints did. It's a rivalry. Get over it. That right there is all you need to know. The way Jameis's teammates had he and Jamal Williams' back, all you need to know. The way Dennis Allen bitch ass apologized to Arthur Smith, who literally got fired a few hours later, which was
I didn't understand hilarious. That. You got mad at one touchdown, but not the 41 other they scored. They put up on you prior to that.
Like, if you don't want them to score, stop them.
Craft the defense to stop them.
To the people who say, well, you called an audible out of the victory formation. You didn't really give them a chance. Fuck you and your chance. You had 11 other people on the field, just like I did. Stop me. Okay? Like, don't sit up here and try to make these guys feel bad because they got their teammate a touchdown who had not scored all year, who led the league in touchdowns last year, in rushing touchdowns last year. If you didn't want it to happen, maybe your quarterback should have threw an interception. Maybe if he threw the interception, they should have tackled him before he got to the 1 yard line. Or fuck it, you could have just let him score. You allowed all of that to happen, and then you get mad because they decide to run one more play to get a guy a touchdown? Get the fuck out of here, man. Like, this is why I can't hate. I don't like Falcons fans and all that bitching and whining and stuff that they've been doing. Like, y'all have only gone to Super Bowls only to lose them terribly. You've never followed up a Super Bowl season with a better season or a back-to-back playoff appearance or anything like that. You have done nothing and contributed nothing to the significance of the game of football outside of Michael Vick and maybe a few other players. Like, in Deion Sanders. Like, if it wasn't for Michael Vick and Deion Sanders, people wouldn't even give a shit about the Falcons. You would just be another nameless, faceless team in the NFL. Like, the only reason why you're significant is because you have this rivalry with the Saints. So maybe instead of complaining about the Saints running up the score on you, maybe say thank you for keeping us relevant because we haven't done shit to keep ourselves relevant. I bequeath my time.
So my piece that I'm adding to it is Shannon Sharp. That was the part that out of all of this, like you're more of a fan and you're like in that. So you see more of the fan side of it, the local reporters, but Shannon on a national level on his podcast, on everything that he has, because he has such a big voice right now. On everything he's been on, has been continuously calling for this man to be cut, which, like you stated, can't be cut because he's a free agent after, and they're probably going to keep him. They may not. I think Dennis Allen's the one that needs to go, but that's just me.
Yeah, definitely.
And every teammate has spoke up, especially Jimmy Graham. Every teammate has spoke up about him, how it won't on Jameis. It was on the entire team. I don't know. I guess because Jameis is the quarterback, everybody feels like Jameis is the easy one to, because he's such a fun-loving, easygoing guy. Everybody feels like he's the punching bag. But I felt like the way Shannon, and I love when I'm looking at it on Twitter, how everybody has jumped on Shannon's ass.
Exactly.
Everybody has jumped on Shannon. Like, bro, are you serious?
Two of the biggest things that showed me something was, number one, Cam Jordan for the Saints. Cam Jordan is a fun-loving guy. He's gregarious. He's basically like Jameis on defense, but more respected and serious. When Cam Jordan comes out and has your back and talks about there needs to be a change in leadership, that says a whole hell of a lot, because Cam don't say shit like that. That's one thing. Two is when every single one of your teammates and former teammates talk about you are a leader. You are the best teammate they've ever played with. Every single teammate, current and former, all come out and support you. And like, I love the way like some people in the media and whatnot have tried to vilify only Jameis. When like even Cesar Ruiz, the right guard, said this wasn't a Jameis thing, this was a team thing. So why is everybody focusing on Jameis? Like that to me spoke volumes. But Shannon Sharp,
As much as I ride for Unc, this was the one time where this is just the one time I just couldn't. I really couldn't. Like it was, and like I said, I was so glad to see so many people jump on him to be like, "Hey, nah, brother, nah, not this time.
This ain't it."
Yeah, like this you went too far this time.
This ain't it.
You definitely went way too far this time to call for a man to be cut. And again, anybody who pays attention to Shannon say some wild shit a lot. I think we just glaze over it because everybody's so enamored with Unc and we so happy with his platform. And I think he's letting it get to his head a little bit now. Now he's letting that Skip Bayless kind of rub off on him a little bit. Been around Skip a little
that, and you know, Shannon is not really a hot take artist. He may have some hot takes, but he's not one of those guys that's going to say something outrageous and just ride with it and stand on it or whatever, the way he did with this. It's almost like instead of him doing that thing where he'll like, you know, I'll admit when I'm wrong. So instead of him just admit when he's wrong, he doubled down on it and basically like, nope, I'm standing on this. And I think because of the way we view him, and he's basically our football version of Charles Barkley.
Basically,
he's more outgoing and doing more pods and doing more content and stuff. So
and he can articulate himself.
Right. We tend to like him a little bit more, I'll say, or consume more of his content that he puts out, because Barkley doesn't put out very much. But we hold him in that high regard. And I think that when a guy that you hold in that high regard says something so foolish, it kind of knocks him down a peg or so for you in your eyes. So I mean, it is what it is, man. It happened. I'm still gonna, you know, pay attention to him, still gonna follow him, still gonna, you know, do all of that. It's just, it kind of makes you look at him just a little differently, just a little bit differently. That wraps up episode 15 of Sucio Sportz.
Episode 15. And as usual, there's a mini intern in the background.
My God.
Hi. What's up? Yeah. You say hi? There you go. You got to say hi.
I love how he just like casually just started just appearing in the background talking. What up, little man? Hey, there he is. What's up?
Oh. Jesus Christ.
There he is. The little Tasmanian devil of the house. What's up?
Bye.
No.
No?
Bye.
Hi.
Bye.
Daddy.
He said bye.
See you later.
He said bye. He said night-night.
Night-night. Yeah, I'm about to go to sleep too, man. I'm tired. It's past my bedtime. Yeah.
So episode 15 is over. No, you can't. Okay.
No.
See, look, I'm turning off the lights.
Hopefully, we got the outro music right today.
I was playing it.
Oh, were you? Yeah, it's not right there.
See, man, I think I got a short in this wire.
Hi.
It's like a short in this wire is what I'm convinced it is because it's plugged in.
Find me, Daddy. Find me.
It's just it's got to be something with this wire. I'm gonna play with it. Pause. We're gonna test it out or something one of these days where we're gonna just get on and I think I may use this from now on because this lighting is a little bit better for me.
Daddy.
I know, right?
Sitting here trying to use the ring light to make use of it and it ain't working.
That's
it's
why
making shit worse.
I like the lights in here. So
yeah, what I could do is probably tone it down, but it's like I don't know. I'll figure something out. Whatever.
either way, episode 15, guys. We appreciate you guys for being here. Those watching on YouTube, those listening over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We do this every Tuesday and Wednesday live. For those of you that want to catch us live, for those of you who cannot, it is always going to be dropped at least by Thursday. Wednesday we try, but at least by Thursday every week. And we definitely appreciate each and every one of you who listen, who tune in, who give us feedback.
Hey, we got to look at the graphics and see who we're going to put on the graphics for this week. Put on last week because I don't want us to like double it.
Yeah, it's pretty much it's damn near the same thing.
And that's what I was thinking because I was like, wait a minute, we may end up with the same damn people on it, but like we got some differences we can make. We got some differences we can make this week from last week. I'm gonna pull it up and look at it before we send that text out. I just thought about that.
Of course, our graphic maker gonna make sure we got Michigan on there.
Oh yeah, of course.
Fuck, nigga. Might want them on there. Crazy. Might want them niggas on there. Fuck them niggas.
I'm gonna just say Michigan. That's it.
Put Harbaugh. Just put Harbaugh. I'm cool. I'm cool with you putting Harbaugh. Did we?
I think we had Harbaugh last week. I want to say it was like Lamar, Harbaugh. I know we had CR7 and like somebody else.
It was Ja, it was AJ, it was Lamar, it was Russell, and then it was LSU's coach.
Okay.
Oh gotcha. No, hold on. I went too far. No, that was a week before. Yep, it was Lamar, John, Washington. It was so two of the people, John and Lamar, we can use them again. You just gotta put them in different places now.
We could use Purdy or CMC. We gonna figure this out. Look, y'all ain't got to be all behind the scenes with us, okay? That's the off-air discussions and shit. Y'all trying to get all in our business and stuff, figure out how we do stuff around here. Y'all need to mind y'all business.
You don't.
But episode 15, seriously though, we appreciate y'all rocking with us. Y'all be back next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, around 8:30. We get started live. We appreciate y'all.
Next week.
Later.
Baby.